Have you ever had a moment where you're with a man, maybe on a date, maybe lying next to him, and you wonder, what does he actually want from me right now? Because let's be honest, most women think they know. They assume it's all about the obvious spots, right? But here's the truth. The places that really drive him wild, the ones that make him feel addicted to you, are almost never the ones you think. You see, men are fascinating. They walk around acting confident, strong, put together. But underneath that tough exterior, they're carrying this secret hunger. And it's not just hunger for your body, it's hunger for the way you make him feel. Imagine this. You reach out and touch him somewhere he doesn't expect, not in a cliché way, not in the way every other woman has before, but in a way that tells him, I see you, I claim you, and you're mine. Do you know what happens in that moment? His walls come down, his breath changes, and suddenly you've shifted from just another woman to the woman he can't stop thinking about. Because ladies, here's the real magic. The body is just the doorway. What you're really touching is his identity, his sense of masculinity, his secret need to feel both powerful and vulnerable in your presence. And when you master that balance, when you know where to touch him, how to touch him, and why it matters, you stop being ordinary in his world. You become unforgettable. But here's where it gets exciting, these secret spots. They're not just about turning him on, they're about creating connection. The kind of connection where days later, he's replaying that one simple touch in his head, thinking, why can't I get her out of my mind? Now, today I'm going to reveal to you the 3 secret places every man wants you to touch. And trust me, once you know them, you'll see his entire energy shift. So if you're ready to step into your power as a woman who knows exactly how to make him crave you, keep watching. And hey, before we dive in, if you love learning the kind of secrets about men that no one else tells you, make sure you hit subscribe, because this isn't just about attraction. It's about giving you the tools to create a love life you deserve. When it comes to men, the back of his neck is one of those places that almost no one talks about, but it's insanely powerful. You might be thinking, really? His neck. But let me explain why this tiny detail can change everything in the way he experiences intimacy with you. First, think about the psychology of it. The back of his neck is a vulnerable spot. It's not somewhere he can see. It's not somewhere he has control over. When you touch him there, it immediately sends this signal to his brain that he's letting go, that he's allowing you into a space he doesn't let many people enter. And that sense of vulnerability is exactly what makes it so intoxicating for him. Men love to feel strong, but the truth is they crave moments where they can let go of control. And when your fingers gently slide across the back of his neck, or you lean in and kiss him there, you're giving him permission to surrender. And that surrender, that's addictive. Now let's talk about the physical side. The back of the neck is loaded with nerve endings. When you lightly graze it, it creates this electric response that shoots all the way through his body. It's subtle but powerful. He won't even see it coming, which is why it works so well. If you've ever noticed a man's shoulders relax or his breathing change the second you touch the back of his neck, that's not an accident, that's biology. You've just tapped into one of his secret pleasure points, and he's hooked without even knowing why. But here's the real secret. It's not just about touching, it's about how you do it. Imagine this scenario. You're sitting next to him, maybe watching a movie or having a drink together, and you casually let your hand slide up from his shoulder, brushing the back of his neck. You don't make a big deal out of it. You don't announce it. You just let it happen, slow and natural. I promise you, inside he's losing his mind. Because what you've done is plant a thought. He's thinking, she's in control here. She knows exactly how to get to me. And trust me, men love a woman who knows how to take control without saying a word. Another way, when you're kissing him, instead of just focusing on his lips, tilt your angle a little and let your lips wander to that spot just behind his ear, down to the back of his neck. That contrast, the softness of your lips against that sensitive skin, is going to light him up. He might not even be able to explain why, but that's exactly the point. You're giving him a feeling he can't put into words. And when a man can't explain it, he becomes addicted to it. What makes this even more powerful is the emotional layer behind it. Because when you touch the back of his neck, you're not just creating desire, you're creating safety. You're saying, I've got you. For a man who spends his whole day trying to be strong, trying to hold it all together, that's an irresistible feeling. He doesn't just feel wanted, he feels chosen. And when a man feels chosen, that's when the bond deepens. So ladies, don't underestimate this spot. The next time you're with your man, test it out. Touch him there when he least expects it. Watch how his body shifts. Notice how his breathing slows down. See how his attention locks on you like nothing else in the world matters. Because in that moment, you're not just touching his body, you're touching his mind, his emotions, and his masculinity all at once. And that right there is the difference between being just another woman he kisses and the woman he never forgets. There's something about a man's jawline that is so much more powerful than people realize. Most women overlook it, but let me tell you, when you learn how to use this spot, you unlock an entirely new level of attraction. You see, the jawline isn't just a piece of bone, it's symbolic. For a man, it's tied to how masculine he feels, how confident he comes across, and even how much of a leader he thinks he is in your eyes. So when you touch it, when you draw attention to it, you're not just touching skin, you're touching his identity as a man. Think about the psychology for a second. A strong jaw has always been associated with power, dominance, and masculinity. It's why you'll see men flex their jaw in photos, or why a guy will clench his jaw when he's trying to look composed. When you acknowledge that part of him, you're essentially saying, I see you, I see your strength, I see your masculinity. And that validation runs deeper than you think. It makes him feel admired. And men crave admiration just as much as women crave affection. Now imagine you're sitting close to him, maybe on a date night. He's telling you a story, he's laughing, and while he's speaking, you reach out and gently run your fingers along the line of his jaw. You don't have to say anything. That one gesture tells him everything. It says, I'm drawn to you, I admire you, I find you irresistible. And the best part, it's not overly sexual, it's intimate in a way that sneaks past his guard. He'll keep talking, but in his mind, he's completely distracted by that one moment of touch. He'll be thinking about it long after. And then there's the kiss. Most people stick to the lips and don't venture much further, but let me tell you, kissing or even lightly brushing your lips along his jawline can set his whole body on fire. It's the contrast between tenderness and strength. When your lips meet that edge of bone, it's delicate, it's teasing, it's showing him that you're savoring every detail of him. And that's something most men rarely experience, being savored. They're used to giving, to leading, to chasing. But when you take that moment to adore his jawline, to explore it with your touch or your lips, you're flipping the script. You're saying, this time I'm the one appreciating you. Now let's go deeper into why this works. When you hold a man's jaw while you kiss him, you're not just guiding the kiss, you're holding him in place. It's both soft and commanding at the same time. Men love this balance. On one hand, it feels nurturing, like he's being cared for. On the other hand, it feels like you're claiming him, like you're saying, you're mine. And let me tell you, a man absolutely melts when a woman makes him feel like hers. It's also incredibly grounding. Think about it. His jaw is right next to his eyes. So when you cup his jawline and look at him, you're forcing him to slow down and connect with you. You're saying, be here with me right now. That intensity is something men don't often get. Most of the time, intimacy is rushed. It's surface level. But when you hold him there, when you stroke that jawline and lock eyes with him, it pulls him into the moment. It makes him feel like you're not just touching his body, you're reaching into his soul. And don't underestimate the playful side of this. Maybe you're teasing him, maybe you want to break the tension. Trace his jaw with your finger and smile. Say something cheeky like, oh, I love this part of you. It's simple, but it lights him up because men secretly love being noticed, especially in places they don't expect. Complimenting his muscles, he's heard it. But touching and praising his jawline, that hits different. So here's what happens when you master this the next time you touch his jaw. Whether it's a graze or your fingertips, a kiss, or a firm hold during an intimate moment, he won't just feel desired, he'll feel chosen. He'll feel seen in his masculinity in a way that's rare, and he'll associate that deep primal validation with you. That's why this spot is so much more than just a piece of bone. It's a doorway into his sense of self, and when you unlock that, you don't just turn him on, you stay in his mind long after you've walked away. Most women don't realize just how much power lies in a man's hands. We tend to think of hands as just functional. He uses them to drive, to work, to carry things, to text you back when he remembers. But to a man, his hands are tied to his identity in a very primal way. His hands are what he uses to lead you across the street, to hold you close, to protect you when you're walking together. They represent his ability to do, to create, to give. And when you start giving attention to his hands, something happens to him that he won't even be able to explain. You see, most men never get affection on their hands. Think about it. Women get their hands kissed, caressed, complimented on their nails, but men, their hands are often ignored. At best, they might get a firm handshake or a high five. That's not intimacy, that's formality. So when you actually take his hands in yours, when you rub your thumbs across his palm, when you lace your fingers into his and hold them like they matter, you're giving him an experience he doesn't normally get, and that makes it unforgettable. Now, let me take you into his psychology for a moment. When you touch his hands, you're acknowledging the part of him that builds and protects. His hands are tied to his sense of masculinity. He might use them to fix something in the house, to drive you somewhere, to lift your suitcase into the overhead bin. These little acts might seem like nothing to you, but for him, They're his way of showing love and strength. So when you hold his hands, kiss them, or even playfully tease them, you're showing him that you value the very thing he uses to take care of you. That's not just sexy, it's deeply affirming. Picture this, you're at dinner and instead of just talking across the table, you reach out and hold his hand. You play with his fingers while he's speaking. You trace the lines in his palm. Do you know what's happening in his head? He's no longer just focused on his food or his story. His entire nervous system is waking up because your touch is sending the message, I'm here with you. I see you. I choose to connect with you in this moment. And that makes him feel wanted in a way no compliment could. Or imagine you're walking together and instead of just loosely holding hands, you squeeze his fingers, tug him playfully closer, or run your nails lightly across his skin. That little bit of variation drives him wild because it's unexpected. You've turned a simple gesture into flirtation. Suddenly, he's not just walking next to you, he's completely aware of you, hooked on you, craving more. Now let's take it into intimacy. Men love it when, in the heat of the moment, a woman doesn't just focus on the obvious but grabs his hands, pins them down, or guides them where she wants them. Why? Because it flips the script. He's used to using his hands to lead, but when you take control of them, it's thrilling. It tells him, right now, I'm the one in charge. That mix of vulnerability and excitement is something he'll remember forever. Even outside the bedroom, hands are powerful symbols. Think about when you're sitting next to him and you absent-mindedly play with his fingers or massage his hand while you're talking. That doesn't just feel good physically, it hits him emotionally. It tells him you're paying attention to him even when you're not trying to be sexy. And that's the difference between surface level attraction and deep connection. Men may not always say it, but they crave that quiet, reassuring intimacy. There's also something incredibly romantic about kissing his hands, not in a theatrical way, but in those soft, unexpected moments. Imagine you grab his hand, turn it slightly, and press your lips against it. That tiny gesture flips his entire world upside down because it makes him feel adored. He's probably never had a woman do that, and that uniqueness makes it 10 times more powerful. So here's what happens when you pay attention to his hands. You remind him that he's more than just what he can give you. You remind him that the very things he uses to love and protect are also worthy of being loved in return. And when you do that, you're not just creating desire, you're creating loyalty. Because in his mind, you become the woman who touches him in places no one else notices, and that makes you unforgettable. There's a reason the small of a man's back is so powerful, and yet most women completely overlook it. It's subtle, it's not an obvious erogenous zone, but that's exactly why it works so well. When you touch him there, when you rest your hand gently against that space just above his hips, you're sending a signal that is so much bigger than just physical contact. You're saying, I'm connected to you. I'm grounding you. I'm right here with you. And for a man, that feeling is intoxicating. Think about it when you're walking with him in public and you slide your hand to the small of his back. It's not only protective, it's also incredibly intimate. It's like a quiet little announcement to the world that says, this one's mine. And men absolutely love that. They may not admit it, but being claimed by your touch makes them feel desired in a way that's rare, because most of the time men are the ones doing the guiding. They put their hand on the small of your back to lead you through a crowd, to show possession, to make you feel safe. But when you flip it, when you're the one placing your hand there, it makes him feel like the roles have reversed for a moment. Suddenly, he's the one being chosen, being guided, being taken care of. And that contrast is unbelievably sexy to him. Now imagine this in a more private setting. You're standing close, maybe in the kitchen while he's pouring a drink or cooking something. You walk up behind him, slip your hand to the small of his back and just hold him there. It's not even about being overtly sexual, it's about anchoring him. That single gesture tells him, I see you. I appreciate you. You don't always have to carry the weight because I've got you too. And let me tell you, for a man who spends all day trying to be strong, trying to handle things, that's a relief. It's a turn on, not just because it feels good, but because it speaks to his deeper need to feel supported. There's also an emotional layer here. The small of the back sits right at the intersection of strength and vulnerability. It's strong because it holds him up. It's part of his posture, his stability. But it's vulnerable because it's behind him, out of his line of sight. When you touch him there, you're entering a space he can't defend, which creates trust. And trust is what turns casual attraction into something much deeper. You're not just saying, I want you. You're saying, you can relax with me. You don't have to be on guard. That combination of desire and safety is like a drug. Even in moments of passion, don't underestimate how powerful this can be. When you're kissing him, sliding your hands down to the small of his back, pulling him closer, it ignites something primal. It's that animalistic pull of come here, you're mine, and he feels it instantly. He'll respond by holding you tighter, pressing you closer, because your touch there lights up both his body and his emotions at the same time. And then there are the subtle everyday touches. You're walking together, you slip your hand to his back for just a second, you're saying goodbye, and you slide your palm there as you lean in. These little moments add up, and before long, he starts to associate that spot with you. Every time you do it, it builds an anchor in his mind that says, this is what it feels like to be wanted by her. Here's the truth. Most women focus only on the obvious areas when it comes to touch, but the small of his back is like a hidden switch. It doesn't scream for attention, but when you know how to use it, you make him feel something most other women never even think about giving. You make him feel claimed, grounded, protected, and turned on all at the same time. And when a man feels all of that from one simple touch, he doesn't forget it. He doesn't forget you. So the next time you're with your man, try it. Place your hand there as you walk through a crowd, as you hug him or as you kiss him. Notice how his body reacts, how his energy changes. Because once you master this little move, you'll realize that sometimes the most powerful touches are the ones that look the most innocent. And he'll keep coming back for more, not just because you touched his body, but because you touched something far deeper. A man's chest is one of those places that everyone knows about, but almost no one understands fully. Sure, you can run your hands across it or lay your head on it, and he'll enjoy the attention. But when you learn how to truly use this area, it goes so far beyond physical pleasure. His chest is symbolic. It's not just skin and muscle. It's the place where his heart beats, where his breath rises and falls, where his sense of masculinity and protection lives. When you give attention to his chest, you're not just touching his body, you're reaching into the part of him that wants to feel like your man. Think about the psychology here. From the time he was young, he's been conditioned to puff out his chest to look strong, to carry himself tall, to present an image of confidence and capability. His chest is his armor to the world, but with you, he doesn't want to wear armor. He wants to feel that he can let you in. So when you press your hand against his chest, when you rest your head there, when you breathe him in, you're telling him, I trust you, I feel safe with you, and I want you close. That's an emotional experience that most men secretly crave but rarely receive. Now let's bring it into the physical. The skin across his chest is sensitive. Light touches, soft kisses, or even teasing grazes with your fingertips can send shivers through him. But what makes it so powerful is the emotional weight behind it. Because for him, his chest isn't just about sensation, it's about validation. When you touch him there, it affirms his identity as your protector, your safe place. And men absolutely melt when they feel like they're not only desired, but trusted. Picture this, you're lying next to him, maybe after a long day. Instead of scrolling on your phone or staying on your side of the bed, you curl up against him, place your head on his chest, and just let yourself be there. His breathing slows. His arms instinctively wrap around you. In that moment, he feels like your entire world, and that's exactly what men long for. They want to feel needed, not just for what they can do, but for who they are. That simple act of resting on his chest tells him, I choose you as my safe place too. And let's not forget the playful side. When you're kissing him, move slowly down to his chest. Tease him a little, don't rush. Let your lips linger, let your hands explore. Men are used to rushing through these moments, but when you slow it down, you're making him feel savored. And that's an experience most men don't get. He's used to being the one doing the pursuing, the one giving the attention. When you flip that dynamic and show him that you enjoy exploring him, you're giving him something unforgettable. There's also incredible power in simply holding his chest. Not in a rushed, sexual way, but in those quiet in-between moments. Maybe you're hugging him and you leave your hand there pressing gently, feeling the rise and fall of his breath. That connection bypasses the physical and goes straight to the emotional. He'll feel anchored, appreciated, and even a little vulnerable. And that vulnerability is exactly what deepens the bond between you. So here's the truth. When you give attention to a man's chest, you're not just creating sparks of desire, you're creating roots of connection. You're reminding him that he's more than just strong arms or broad shoulders. You're reminding him that the part of him he uses to shield the world is also the part of him that can hold you, protect you, and be your safe place. That's why touching his chest is so much more than a physical act. It's an emotional invitation. It tells him, I want you, I trust you, and I belong here. And when you make a man feel that way, when his chest becomes your home, he doesn't just feel turned on, he feels loyal, he feels bonded. He feels like he could never find that same sense of intimacy anywhere else. And that, ladies, is the kind of connection that turns attraction into something lasting. So, ladies, here's the truth. Men may act tough, confident, and in control, but underneath it all, they crave the smallest gestures that make them feel desired, claimed and safe with you. The back of his neck, his jawline, his hands, the small of his back, his chest, these aren't just random body parts. They're hidden doorways into his emotions, his identity, and his deepest desires. When you touch him in these ways, you're not just creating heat in the moment. You're building memories that linger long after you've left the room. You're giving him the experience of being truly seen, of being savored, of being chosen. And that is the difference between being the woman he forgets and the woman he can't get out of his head. So the next time you're with him, don't rush, slow down, explore, notice how his body reacts, notice how his energy shifts, and realize the power you hold in your touch. Because once you master these little secrets, you'll find he's not just addicted to your body, he's addicted to you. Now, I want to hear from you. Out of these 5 secret spots, which one do you think will drive your man the craziest? Drop it in the comments, I'll be reading. And if you loved learning this, don't forget to like this video, share it with a friend who needs to hear it, and most importantly, hit subscribe, because I've got so many more secrets to share that will completely transform the way you connect with men.